Let's go off to Gauteng, where the provincial government is convening an energy indaba to respond to the electricity challenges in the province. The indaba is expected to bring together various stakeholders in the electricity generation business and other interested parties. The stakeholders will look at challenges pertaining to electricity infrastructure improvements, debt management and the billing system, and the removal of illegal connections. For more on this story, we are now joined by SABC News reporter Katlego Legodi. Katlego, good morning. Thank you so much for making time for us. And of course, this indaba taking place just after the details were released by Treasury in relation to the solar panels and the financing that they will be making available.
Most definitely. A very good morning to you, Eldrin, and to our viewers at home. The Gauteng Provincial Government has been hard at work to ensure that they mitigate where the energy crisis is concerned. You're right to say there are various projects that have been earmarked to ensure that there's a move here where that energy crisis is concerned. One of them being the Merafong solar plant that will be built here in the province to ensure that there is actually a move in helping the municipalities that have been struggling over time due to load shedding and rolling blackouts. We know very well that Gauteng as well has put aside 1.2 billion rand to ensure that there is a move here where these projects are concerned. Also, this is a concerted effort looking at the Economic Development Department, the COCTA Department as well, and also the Human Settlements and Development as well, working with the Gauteng Premier to ensure that there is a move where the electricity crisis is concerned. There have been various issues plaguing municipalities, one of them also being issues of illegal connections. Those are some of the issues that will come under the spotlight here at this indaba. But I'm going to bring one into the conversation now, the MEC for Human Settlements and Infrastructure Development here in the province, MEC Maile, who'll just let us in on really what we can expect here. We've seen that the program has already started. We'll be expecting to see the Premier as well deliver a keynote address here. But really at the center of what is happening here is looking for solutions, looking at the energy crisis that has been playing out throughout the country. Welcome to the SABC.
Morning, and thanks for having me, Katlego, and good morning to the viewers at home as well. Today's meeting is very important because it's a continuation of the initiatives we have started. You will remember earlier in the year we had an expo where we invited industry players to demonstrate the possible solutions that they can offer, because we made a conscious and deliberate decision, as you have said earlier on, that we would invest at least a minimum of 1.2 billion. I'm saying it's deliberate and conscious because, as you know, energy, it's a competence of national and local government. But because of the crisis we find ourselves in, and because of the nature and character of our province and the important role that we are expected to play in the economy and in the reindustrialization, we thought it's important that we must find resources to help national government and also help municipalities and work with them. That's why one of the conscious decisions we took was that because we don't have the capacity, since it's not our competence, we will engage City Power, which is an entity of the City of Johannesburg, and appoint them to become the implementing agency for the province to help especially your smallest undercapacitated municipalities to deal with issues of energy. And we've since signed an MOU, and after these deliberations here, we will also be signing an MOA with them.
We know very well as well that you've roped in GIFA, which is the infrastructure financing agency, to ensure that there's also the private sector that is roped in to play a role here. It's all hands on deck towards a solution to the energy crisis. How important is it that the private sector also play a role here? And really, are we seeing them coming through, looking at the work that you've already started as the Gauteng province?
It is important. That's why most of the participants here is the private sector. And you've got people who are financing some of these initiatives. Hence, we said GIFA as our agency must coordinate on our behalf our collaboration with the private sector, look at the work that national government is doing. You spoke earlier on about the solar farm in Merafong. That's a private sector initiative. Ours is to create a conducive environment, working with the municipalities and national government. And we think we are on track. Hence, today we are having this session, which you have correctly said it will be addressed by the Premier. And then we will have energy experts, we will have national government, we will have local government and the private sector. And of importance is that this is not going to be a talk show. That's why we have about, I think, 4 different sessions where people must add and come up with practical solutions. How do we deal with illegal connections, for instance? How do we deal with the rollout of smart meters? How do you deal with the rollout of solar panels? How can we make sure that we cushion the poorest of the poor? How can we make sure that we work with government to provide a catastrophe that could lead to job losses, that could lead to economic decline and all that? So we think this session is long overdue, it's relevant, and it will add value.
Just finally on my end, what would be the responsibility of the citizens that are listening right now where their role is concerned? Because we know very well that, for instance, we've mentioned an issue of illegal connections. They are mushrooming human settlements, informal settlements in the province, whereby they too are adding pressure onto the grid, looking at the work that City Power has been doing over time. What would be the responsibility then of the citizens there at home?
We must all play our part. People should not connect illegally. People should agree to the smart metering because it will help us. We have taken a decision already at the human settlement MINMEC that we will roll out solar panels. I think most of the new houses that we'll be building going forward, and we'll also look at the old houses that we have built previously. But we are already looking at how do we, as a provincial government, use some of our buildings to generate energy and contribute into the grid. So, in short, we all have a responsibility, and we must embrace our responsibilities as government, as the private sector, as ordinary citizens. It's unfortunate that we're in a situation that we're in. No one has anticipated that we'll be where we are, but we are here now, and we must all work collectively to get out of this mess. And let's hope that as soon as December, January, the country should be out of this unfortunate situation.
MEC Maile, thank you very much, sir, for your time. It's coming through as the MEC for Human Settlements and Infrastructure Development here in Gauteng. Of course, talking about those concerted efforts that are currently underway as we speak right now. The program has started. We'll be seeing the MEC or the Premier, this being Panyaza Dusufi, take to the podium. We saw MEC Mzi Kumalo as well opening here. And of course, it's going to be engagements after engagements. What is happening here is all in efforts to ensure that there's a solution so that we're not in the dark as the citizens of Gauteng. Eldrin?